I had a problem. It was a creative problem that I've been dealing with for a long time. And I thought that solving this problem would require years of deep psychological work and therapy and introspection. But it didn't. The solution was actually quite simple. Hi, I'm Sam Mass. I'm a writer and filmmaker, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing the simple solution I found for overcoming my fear of sharing my work. So this stack of paper here, can't even pick it all up. This is about 2 years of projects here. In my Google Docs, I have even more work. I have like 72 essays, a bunch of mini essays. I think I have like 3 mostly finished nonfiction books written. Contrast that with the work that I've shared publicly or even attempted to share or publish anywhere. And it's actually quite depressing. I could never seem to share my work. Every time I wrote something or made a video or prepared a presentation for work, I would have this deep feeling that it just wasn't good enough. So I'd keep going back to it to try and improve it, and it never felt like it got into a place where I was comfortable enough to put it out there. In fact, the more I went back to it, the worse it started to get. So I would put the project away and move on to something else and not think about it again and just tell myself, well, that project wasn't good enough to share. Whether that was imposter syndrome, fear of inadequacy, fear of exposure, maladaptive perfectionism, ego defense. I don't even know which of these might be the source of my problem. And I could spend years trying to figure that out and then years trying to unpack whatever it is that was going on with me. And on some level, I probably should do that. But if I make fixing myself a prerequisite for sharing my work, then I'm never going to put my work out there. And that was a trap that I kept falling into. It felt like I needed to work on myself before the work would be good enough to share. Recently, I've been revisiting a lot of my old projects, and all the ones that I thought were terrible, a lot of them turn out to be great. The ideas are solid, the writing is clear, there's a style to it that I enjoy reading, and I can't remember why I thought it was so bad in the first place. Reading it back, it's good. It's good enough to share. And I can't for the life of me figure out why I hated it so much in the first place. Reading it back later, it doesn't feel like something that I had written myself. It felt like I was reading something somebody else had written. And from that perspective, I was able to be objective and see that it was actually good and I actually enjoyed it. And on writing, Stephen King talks about this method he calls the shelf method. Whenever he finishes a first draft of a novel, what he does is he prints it all out and he puts it in his desk drawer and he leaves it there for 6 weeks without touching it. And only after that 6 weeks is up does he open up the drawer and revisit it to read it back. Now, the purpose of this, according to King, is that it makes it easier to spot weaknesses and not think that everything you've written is amazing and has to be in the novel. Now, I don't have that problem of thinking everything I've written is awesome, but that distance not only allows you to see weaknesses, it allows you to see your strengths too. Because I thought all my work was terrible, if I put it away long enough and it didn't feel like it was mine anymore, that made it easier for me to be objective and see what was good about it. And I found this method really works for me. Putting drafts away and then revisiting after I've already moved on removes that perfectionist fear that keeps me from sharing my work. It makes it easy to see that, okay, this piece is actually pretty good. I could actually feel comfortable sharing this and putting my name on it. The challenge, though, is keeping track of everything, making sure that you're actually going back and revisiting things, especially online, like in Google Docs. So many drafts just get lost, right? They just end up at the bottom of the list and you never go back and see them again. So what I do to make sure that I'm revisiting my old drafts now is luckily I write a lot of them by hand, and then I'll put them in this little inbox here. So after I write something, I'll file it here. And then at the end of the week or every other week, I'll go back through this stack and I'll type them up and work through them and revisit them. If I wrote something online, so if it just something exists in Google Docs, then I'll write down on a note card the projects and I'll put it in here. Same thing goes for videos or anything that's digital. And then that way I'll go back through and remember to revisit it. Now, it's not perfect. And a lot of times on Sunday, I'll go to this stack and I won't get through all of it. And a lot of things will sit there for weeks. But that's okay because the more distance that I create, then the easier it is to be objective. The best part about all this is I always thought I'd have to think my way out of my fear of sharing my work or, this perfectionism that I felt that I had. But using this method of just revisiting work later, I'm overcoming those fears without even having to address them head on. I'm doing it through the action of actually sharing my work. I'm still rewiring my brain and overcoming that fear of sharing my work by putting things out there, but I'm not having to like dig deep and figure it all out before I do that. I can figure that out while I'm sharing my work. And it's fun and it's simple and it's easy. And it beats sitting in your own head and thinking about it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or comment. It helps out a ton. A bunch of you left comments recently, so thank you very much for that. I'm trying to reply to all of them. I appreciate it. Subscribe for more videos on writing and analog tools, and I'll see you in the next video.